Hey, welcome back to the Board Game Closet. My name's Jimmy.
I'm Tim.
I'm Rod.
And today we're going to be doing a preview instead of a review. We were sent a preview copy from Brian over at Overworld Games, and we're going to be looking at their new game that they have on Kickstarter right now called New Salem. Basically, in New Salem, you're a predominant citizen of the town of Salem, Massachusetts, and you are tired of all the craziness that's gone in town with all the witch trials and all that stuff. And so you've decided to take all of your prominence, and you and your friends are going over a little bit, and you're going to start a new town called New Salem. And so the game basically plays out over a series of rounds where you're building buildings and trying to make a great city. So normally we would talk about instructions, components, and how the game plays, but since this is a preview and the components that were sent to us are pre-production, we didn't have anything to actually, we didn't want to show you something that might confuse you on what you're actually going to be getting with the game. Because what they're going to be producing, from what we can tell already based off the artwork, is going to be a really nice set of components that you're going to be getting. So let me tell you how the game works. It's kind of a mixture of card drafting, hidden identity, and set collection. Those will be the three main mechanisms in the game. So at the beginning of the game, you're going to be given a character card, and you're either going to be a predominant citizen in the town, like Jebediah or someone like that, a Puritan, or you're going to be a witch. And those identities are kept secret throughout the game. And so each person is dealt that, and depending on the number of players that you have, will determine the number of Puritans and the number of witches that are in the game. And so it's a mixture of that. And what's kind of neat about that component is they're actually, depending if, say there's 4 people, I think there has to be at least one witch card in there, but it doesn't mean that everybody even gets one because you pass them out. And so no one at the table could even be one, but you'd think they are, which is kind of a cool, plays into that whole idea of the Salem witch trials. But anyway, so at the beginning of the game, everybody gets a character card, and on that card it's going to show you the 2 types of buildings that you're going to get bonus points if you build. And so then everybody is dealt a certain amount of cards based off of the round that you're in, and play happens simultaneously. So everybody looks at the cards that they won, they draw one card, place it face down, and pass the cards that they don't want in a direction based off of the round. Everybody continues to do that until you get down to 2 cards, and then you pick one card that you want to play, or you could dump both of those for a card that you don't know what it's going to be. Then all at the same time, you're going to reveal your cards, and then that's going to tell you a couple things. On your cards, you have a few choices. One thing that you have is on each card there's going to be hope or despair. And hope is a good thing because it provides hope to your city and you're building good things, but then despair is what the witches are after. At the end of the game, if there's more despair than there is hope, basically they have a little chart that tells you how much despair needs to be on the board in order for the witches to win. If there's that many, then the witch that had the greatest amount of points wins the game. Or if there's more hope, then the Puritan that has the most points wins the game. So it's a pretty simple mechanic. Basically, you're passing cards around, you're playing simultaneously, and then that's the end of the round. Then at the end of the round, you have the opportunity to trigger events. And that's where the little cubes on your cards come in. So when you play a card, if it has a hope spot, then you'll get a hope cube. And if it has a despair spot, then you'll put a despair cube there. And then the hope, if you combine all of your hope together, you can actually trigger events in the game where you could actually put someone on trial, or someone could get a pardon, or you could do a cleansing where you're going to be able to get some despair off of the board. And then you can also play another one where you could actually look at someone's character card and see if they're good or bad. And so you do that for 5 rounds, I believe, and then at the end of the game, that's when you're going to look and see how much hope or despair is on the board. And then you go from there. But the cards that you play are also important because you're trying to either collect what was on your card, or you're also trying to make sets. And so you get a point if it's the same kind that's on your card, or you get 2 points if you make a set. And so that's kind of neat how that works. And then at the end of the game, it's based off of who has the most points. Was it the Puritans or the witches? And then you go from there. So that's kind of how you play. I'm sure I didn't get all the rules exactly right, but you can check their Kickstarter out to make sure that you understand it exactly. But it's drafting, hidden identity, and set collection. So Tim, do you want to tell us what you thought about the game?
I thought it was nice and quick and easy to learn. A lot of the deeper mechanics is explained on the cards, like the trials and the the pardons and stuff like that. So they have the actual rules on the cards, so you don't have to reference the rule book. We got lucky because we were being demoed by Brian himself, so we never really had to reference the rule book. But after, it's like Seven Wonders was, once you play a round of it, you've got the whole game down. Because the whole mechanic of who's putting out the most despair to find out who's the witch and stuff like that versus who's just being greedy and stuff like that. That's all, done by the players. That's not really, really explained in the rule book. It's all about, the hidden identity kind of stuff. So just where it comes in. So it's all the greed versus being put on trial, I guess. That goes into the game. It was a fun game. And it was quick to learn. So I liked it on that.
Yeah, played quick. I mean, by the time the rounds go, because of the simultaneous play, you're not waiting on somebody else to decide what building am I going to build. You just all look at it, you put one face down, you pass it, then at the end of the round you reveal it. So the rounds go really fast, even though I believe there's 5 rounds, it plays really quick. But during those 5 rounds, you're trying to figure out who's bad and who's good, and so throughout the game, the very first round, as it goes through, it's a combination of you want to play the sets that will give you points, but if you're playing a card that has despair on it, then you're helping the bad guys, or opposite, so it's funny at the beginning of the game, you're thinking, oh, he's bad and he's bad and he's bad, but no, they're just greedy, they're just looking out for themselves, and so that's kind of neat how that keeps the identity thing going throughout the game, so, yeah.
The artwork that's coming out. You can probably go out to and go to their website, which is what do we?
It should be on Kickstarter.
Okay, I apologize. On the Kickstarter, outstanding artist that's doing the work on there. So really looking forward to when that art is done. The gameplay itself, I enjoyed thoroughly. I mean, it's a quick game. It's a nice one to end a day of gaming with. It was easy to understand. Most of the family would probably be able to understand it, so I would consider it a family game. I was the witch when we were playing, so it was pretty fun, some of the stuff that goes on, because it's a game that you have to keep talking, everyone needs to keep talking to each other, and there's deception going on left and right, especially with the witch, because you're trying to let them, so when you're, like, for instance, when they were gonna have me buy, I'm trying to think what you guys wanted me to buy. It was I was going to buy down some of the despair.
Yeah, you're trying to do a cleansing.
Right, but one person has to do that. So basically you're going to end up giving your cubes to, I had them give them to me, but I basically grabbed them, just saying, okay, I'll go ahead and do that. But instead of doing that, I went and bought a pardon. So then right away they obviously know them which, but I've got a pardon, which doesn't allow them to put me on trial, which made it a blast. I mean, it was just a whole bunch of fun, just kind of, playing a little deceit there, and it was a great game. I enjoyed it.
So check them out on Kickstarter. Definitely check it out to see the components and the artwork. I think that could sell you on the game, and then you can learn more about the mechanics and how the game actually plays.
The artist actually is famous, right? Because he does the other game.
Oh, Winter Tales.
Winter Tales.
So that's a Fantasy Flight title. So they actually secured a great artist for this, which I think will really help sell the idea of what it is. It's lighthearted. So if you're not so into the witches and Puritans, that's not such a big deal that would, knock you out of this game, I guess, because it's not like you're doing anything other than building buildings, is all that you're doing. But anyways, check out the Kickstarter, look for some more stuff that they have about it, and then maybe that's something that you'd like to back and get. So thanks for watching our reviews, and check out more of our stuff online at BoardGameCloset.com and on YouTube. And as always,
Support your local hobby shop and Kickstarter for this one right here.